Hi everyone, thanks for joining me again for another Floof and Feathers drawing video. I am Perry and I write and illustrate the Floof and Feathers webcomic series, which is inspired by our real life pets, our two dogs, and our bird. And this month, instead of doing my regular weekly comics, if you've been watching the last couple of videos, if you've been reading the series and you know, then I am currently working on this year's Inktober prompts. During the month of October every year, Inktober puts out a list of daily art prompts for people to follow. Just little one or two word phrases just to help inspire you to draw some new things during the month. So I'm using that as inspiration for my comic series this month and putting out somewhat daily one-panel comics based off of the Inktober prompts. So for today's comic that came out earlier this morning, the prompt was trip. My mind immediately went towards the thought of Olivia setting up some kind of booby trap in the house, like Home Alone style. If there's anyone in our household who was going to do that, it's it's Olivia. She would 100% do that. So you can see from the sketch here, I'm drawing her showing Pippin the wonderful, clever trap that she's made, tying a rope at the top of the banisters and the stairs, and saying, "Oh, it's great because then the humans just trip over the rope and they'll fall down the stairs. It'll be hilarious." Because that's exactly the sort of thing that she would do if she got her hands on a length of rope. I know I've mentioned in a previous Inktober video from a few days ago that Olivia, she has her little jailbreak stunt that she pulls to get out of her room when she wants attention. So I I would not at all put this past her being able to set up some kind of Kevin McAllister Home Alone trap. In all honesty, I'm kind of surprised that she hasn't already. She is way too clever for her own good. She's really good at solving puzzles and things like that. So yeah, if she ever got a hold of a length of clothesline or something and got to the top of the stairs, I mean, we would have to be really, really careful because she would 100% set up some kind of trap just to mess with us, just because she would think it was funny. And you can see from the sketch over on the side, I'll be filling that in now. There we go, Pippin, looking, you know, looking concerned, wondering if maybe this actually is a good idea or not. And again, that's very fitting with his personality. Pippin is still somewhat newer to the household. We've had him for just a little over a year. We got him in July of last year. So he's kind of the youngest and newest of the Floof and Feathers crowd. So I mean, even now he's still kind of learning some of the daily ins and outs of life. But also he is best friends with Olivia. The two of them just absolutely love each other. They spend a lot of time together. And so, of course, sometimes she can be a little bit of a bad influence on him. So, you can see him, he's looking a little concerned because it seems like maybe this isn't such a good idea. But I mean, his sister Olivia seems to think it's a good idea. So it can't really be that bad, right? Right? It can't be that bad of a thing to do if Olivia's doing it. Or at least that's what he's trying to tell himself, I'm sure. And then we'll just go ahead and then you can see I drew their characters on a separate layer behind when I did the inking in for the rope and the banister. And that way I can go in afterwards and just very simply erase those overlapping lines and just help clean things up. That's one thing I always try to stress when I'm talking about, doing these art projects for anyone new to digital art, who's trying things. Make sure that you use that layers function, just because it makes it really easy to keep things separate. You can manipulate different elements without messing up the entire image. It just makes your life a million times easier. That's one of those lessons that I had to kind of teach myself when I first started doing this webcomic series because at the time, a little over 2 years ago, I had never done any kind of work with digital art before, so I didn't know how any of this stuff worked. So even things like here you can see I'm doing in the shading for Pippin's fur to just give it that little extra pop, that little extra bit of texture. For a long time, that kind of shading and depth theory was something I didn't really understand. I had never worked with that before. That was just something I kind of picked up on and learned and taught myself as I went. But and that's all part of the fun of doing Inktober as well, is that it can help get you out of your comfort zone a little bit because you're getting ideas just from this prompt list, and you can just sort of react to them and just go with your gut instinct and say, oh well, I'm going to draw this based off of that phrase. So it's a really great way too if you're struggling for inspiration or motivation. Definitely look into doing some Inktober. And then here you can see where I'm filling in the banister. I know Procreate has a wood grain pen. I've never really been a fan of it personally. I can never get it to work quite right. So what I always do is I'll fill that in with that lighter shade of brown, and then I'll get a darker shade of brown and go into the painting brush and do the dry brush pen and bring that down to like a size like 10 or 15, depending on the surface area, and just do short, gentle, quick strokes with that pen. That seems to get a much better wood grain texture, at least for me. That's been my experience. But I don't know if that's what it's been like for anyone else, but I've just never quite gotten that dedicated wood grain pencil to working correctly. But I found something else that works, so that's all that matters in the end, I guess. But that being said, today's Floof and Feathers comic trip is wrapping up, just doing a little bit of final shading there on Olivia's feathers and Pippin's white fur, and then I'll just need to add in his speckles. But anyway, as this wraps up, just another reminder, if anyone is interested in checking out Inktober this year, you can find them on Instagram. They have a subreddit. They have lists of all their prompts, and you can see all of the artwork that people are sharing for it. So definitely worth checking out. And one other thing, if you would like to help support Floof and Feathers further, we are on Patreon. You can get access to preview sketches, reader polls, exclusive wallpapers, and monthly sticker packs. Lots of great bonus rewards and exclusive extra like behind the scenes content. Definitely worth looking into. And also, you can check out the description below for that, as well as links to my home website that has this and the entire comic series from start to finish. If you want to read that, you can check out Floof and Feathers merchandise, my online art store that I have, and even look into possibly getting some pet art commissions if you're interested in that sort of thing. But again, links and details for all of that is below in the description. But with that being said, I just want to say thank you again to everyone for joining me for this another Inktober video. Hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you enjoy continuing to read the series as it progresses throughout the month. And I will see everyone back here next time.